What's going on, guys? It's me, Fan 2016 here, and today we have another model plane review for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing the GeminiJets 1/400 scale Delta Airlines Airbus A321 in the Thank You Livery. A very interesting model to review for this video right here. And yeah, this is a very interesting model by GeminiJets, and it was a very interesting model I added to my collection, and overall I think it needs some review because I did not did an actual review on this model. I did not do an unboxing of this model at all on this YouTube channel, but I did feature this aircraft. I featured this aircraft in a couple of airport updates. But I do want to give this model a review so you can see how this model is like. So without further delay, I think I do want to get started with this review. So let's get started with the box review as per usual, and then of course we're gonna move on to the model. So let's get started with the box. Okay, so let's get started with the box. So as you can see, this is pretty much your typical GeminiJets generic box. This is there's nothing too special about this box. It's just a generic box for most GeminiJets models. So you got the GeminiJets logo right there, made for collectors by collectors. You got the CGI image of the aircraft right there. You got the Airbus A321 titles along with the Delta Airlines and SkyTeam logo. 1/400 scale die-cast model aircraft. Moving on to the sides. Just your average same deal as what the front has. It's just the sides, they're pretty much the same. And here's the back side of the aircraft. So you got the CGI image of the aircraft taken off with some cirrus clouds in the background. You got the as real as it gets features right there. Highly collectible, superior quality, all that stuff. Well, of course it's debatable, but yeah. But anyways, here's the social media pages right there. There are social media pages in this case. And then this is the Delta Airlines licensing right here. So Delta and Delta logo are registered trademarks for Delta Airlines Inc. and all that. And this is a 2020 GeminiJets release. So this is the 2020 GeminiJets copyright label. I'm not sure which release it fell on, but it's somewhere around 2020 for the most part. And the item number of this model is GJDAL 1927. And as I open up the pamphlet, so nothing's pretty much in there. And how about this? I do like on how they change things up a bit. So you got the thank you and all the descriptions right there. That's kind of very cool for GeminiJets to add that actually. Typically I would think of it, oh, it's just a generic description of the Airbus A321, but no, it's just this for this particular aircraft. So that is pretty cool right here. So you can pause and read if you like, because this is a very interesting detailed description of this box right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this box. Overall, I do like on how the box is designed. Of course, with the pamphlet and all that, it is a very cool. They added the thank you thing and the description of this aircraft and how the thank you is really represented. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the box. Now let's move on to the model. And here's the model itself, looking absolutely interesting to say the least. Of course, the GeminiJets A320 family mold is quite controversial to most people in the model plane community, but I do want to review this just to give you guys a look at the A321 mold from GeminiJets and what are the flaws are for this model right here. So let's get started with the review. As I start at the port side at the very front, there we go. So yeah, let's get started. So you got the cockpit windows right there, and of course you got the nose shape of the A320 mold, the nose of the A321 mold. Yeah, that's one of the design flaws that you're seeing right now. It kind of feels more pointy, almost like a 737's nose. But what I can say that GeminiJets could have at least done better on it. I'm not sure if they improved slightly a little bit or it's kind of similar, but I think there needs to be improvement on the nose shape of this aircraft. So hopefully GeminiJets can fix that in the future. Then you got the nose landing gear and nose landing gear door. Part of the ship number is there as well. It's printed nicely, to say the least. You got the top antenna and the L1 boarding door right there. And then you got the SkyTeam logo and the Delta Airlines logo right there. And you got some pitot tube detail right there and a sag port detail right there. You got some windows which are printed very nicely, so that's a plus for GeminiJets on this model right here. Moving on to the middle section of the aircraft, you got the L2 boarding door right behind the T and the H. And here's the big thank you in all red. And the actual aircraft, it has some names, the names are there to make the thank you, but I think they can't do it in 1/400, so it's just a plain red without any detailings, which is quite reasonable for a 1/400 model plane manufacturer, because I was thinking they can put like the names to spell the word thank you. So yeah, they just kept it like that. But yeah, either way, it looks very nice. Next up, you got the CFM 56-5B engines right there, and yes, they are too big. They kind of seem like Neo engines as I run my pencil down. Yeah, there isn't really much ground clearance from like the engine to the floor. So yeah, that's another design flaw for like the GeminiJets A321 mold right there. But what I can add though, is that the sharklet looks very nice, and yeah, the molding of the sharklets is very nice, and I think GeminiJets did a nice job on that model. That part right there. That's what I meant to say. Next up, you got the main landing gear right there. And now moving on to some wing detail as I zoom out. Here's some wing detail of the aircraft. So you got no emergency exit line indicators. You got a nice engine pylon detail right there. You got some slat details, a leading edge detail. You got some trailing edge details with the flaps, fairings, and spoilers from the ground spoilers and flight spoilers. And then you got some aileron detail as well. And then you also got the cold soaked fuel frost, which is like printed very nicely. So yeah, nice job GeminiJets on that. Moving on as I zoom in closer. And focus it. There we go. Moving on, you got the L3 door or emergency exit door right there. Looking very nice. Here are your back antennas and the Wi-Fi dome right there. Moving on to close to the empennage, you got the US flag right there. And the aircraft registration, which is November 391 Delta November. Next up, you got the L2 door right there. And I think I already mentioned the front back antenna, the Wi-Fi dome. And here's the back antenna right there. And then moving on to the empennage of the aircraft, you got the APU, which I think it's very printed very nicely as well. And then you also got some horizontal stabilizers and the Delta Airlines tail upward and onward, widget tail with the aircraft ship number right there. And yeah, it looks very nice, and I like on how GeminiJets printed the Delta widget tail on this model. So yeah, it looks very nice. And now moving on to the starboard side. Pretty much the same thing for the starboard side. You got your R doors, of course, and then you got the forward cargo bin right there. And moving on to the back section, you got two aft cargo bins, one right there and one right there. And now for a top view of this aircraft, so let me position her in the top portion. So here's the top view of the aircraft, looking very nice right there. And yeah, nice detailing with the beacon light right there. This is the top beacon light, and some other detailings of the front right there. Moving on to the bottom section of the aircraft, you got the Delta Airlines logo that is printed on the belly. And GeminiJets also did a nice job on the printing of the Delta Airlines on the belly right there. And then you also got the A321 tiles right there, if you can see it. So it's at the very front of the aircraft. There's some other nice detailing as well. You also got the bottom beacon light right there. And this model is a two-piece. Unfortunately, the main landing gear, the entire landing gear does not roll, which, yeah, I don't know why it doesn't roll, but that's unfortunate. And you also got the GeminiJets logo right there. So here's the GeminiJets logo. It is very small, it has gotten smaller in the next couple of releases. So yeah, the GeminiJets has gotten smaller ever since today, but this is how small the GeminiJets logo was like back in 2020. Moving on to the front section of the aircraft. Yeah, so here's the front section, and at least the landing gear is when I first got this model, the landing gear was like very, very crooked, so I had to fix that. And it kind of looks straight, so I think I did a decent job on fixing that. And then moving on to the back section, here's the back section of the aircraft, and at least the horizontal stabilizers are straight and leveled. And yeah, but other than that, this is a okay model by GeminiJets. I know there are some flaws with the A321 mold, but other than that, I think this is still a good model from GeminiJets. And yeah, really glad to have this. I'm kind of looking forward on getting the NG one to replace this, because the NG is it's much better, although it's in their older A321 mold. But other than that, at least I do have this model in my collection, at least. And yeah, it's a very nice model. Now, of course, before I conclude this video, I do want to give you guys some information about this aircraft, so let's get into that right now. Alright, so now I got some information according to planespotters.net and airfleets.net. Let's start up with some information from planespotters.net. So, of course, this aircraft is registered November 391 Delta November, and the manufacturing serial number, or MSN, is 9027, and the age of this aircraft as of now is 3.7 years. And the test registration of that aircraft is Foxtrot Whiskey Zulu Mike Alpha, and this aircraft was built in Mobile, Alabama. So that's Airbus's Mobile, Alabama plant right there. Not like the Hamburg plant in Germany, but it's in the Mobile plant. And the status frame of the airframe, well, the airframe status is active, so she is currently flying as of today. Now, as I pull up air fleets, we're gonna talk about the aircraft's first flight date and the delivery date for this aircraft. So, with some other information as well. So, of course, this aircraft is powered by two CFMI CFM56-5B3/P engines. And the first flight date of this aircraft was December 14th of 2019. So, yeah, somewhat old, but of course this aircraft is 3.7 years, so you can say that it's still young. And this aircraft was delivered to Delta back in December 20th of 2019. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the information about this aircraft, and I do got a special thing about this aircraft as well, as I did get to see this aircraft during my San Diego day trip, and unfortunately it was like, she came here like when like San Diego was pretty much dark, so she came at like during dark times at San Diego, and I do have a picture of that aircraft. However, I don't think I want to show that because like it's just too dark and you can't really hardly see the aircraft, but I did provide a video for you guys. So here's that video playing right now, and overall I think the video did turn out much better, let's just say that. So yeah, I'm really proud of the video and how it turned out, and yeah, I'm really glad I get to see this aircraft in real life, and yeah, she looks very nice in person, and yeah, I'm glad to have this model as well to represent seeing this aircraft in San Diego. But on that, I mean, it's the GeminiJets version of it. I'm hoping I could get the NG version like I said, and yeah, probably I can do a model plane comparison once I get the NG version if I can. But other than that, this GeminiJets will do for now, and it should be perfect for my collection for many years to come. Well, not really many years, but just for a limited time. But other than that, it's a great model from GeminiJets. If you missed out on the NG, then you can get the Gemini version. Or if there's some NGs in stock, then you can get that. But other than that, I think the GeminiJets version is okay. So that's pretty much it for this video. Now let's get into the conclusion. So what do I think of this model? Well, minus the whole QC problems of the Gemini A321 mold, this model is absolutely fantastic, and I think GeminiJets did a nice job on this model. And yeah, it's a nice model to add to my Delta collection, even though I'm gonna have this for like a limited time until I get the NG version of this model. And yeah, overall, it was like a random model that I decided to pick. I ended up getting this from Amazon, and yeah, I think like the pricing in Amazon was different compared like me buying it from a retailer, but yeah, that was like my early years of collecting. I got this like during my early years of collecting. But other than that, at least I learned on how to like collect models from retailers and try to avoid some websites that I don't want to like buy models from. But that's just one of the cases. That's character development. I kind of like started off with ordering models from Amazon until I heard some other retailers do sell models. And yeah, I go for the retailers instead of like Amazon and all that. But other than that, Amazon is an okay website to buy some models. I mean, just watch out because like the shipping might get delayed, so keep an eye on that. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for what I'm talking about on this model. Other than that, once again, this is a great model by GeminiJets, even though with all like the A320 mold issues, A320 family mold issues in this case, I think GeminiJets did a great job on this model, and I would highly recommend, well, if you want to get the NG version, like I said, then you can get the NG, but if you want to get the Gemini version, I mean, it's okay, you can get the Gemini version. Just want to let you guys know, of course, there's mold issues, but other than that, I think this model is okay. It's a good model from GeminiJets, and really glad to have this in my collection. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on that post notification bell so you won't miss a video like this anytime soon. And don't forget to check out all my other model plane reviews I did by clicking on that playlist, and you can check out all my model reviews from there. So, That's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyways, good night.